Here's Jevohn Shepherd from the NBA Finals in Indianapolis. Jevohn, Tyrese Haliburton dealing with a calf strain ahead of Game 6. He's been instrumental in Indiana's postseason run. Do the Pacers have any kind of shot if he's physically compromised or just unavailable?
Yeah, Jay, this will be a tough hurdle to overcome because Tyrese means so much for his team. He's the driver, he's the engine, and he has the key for this Indy offense. I think the thing with how they play offensively is it's not much one-on-one, right? They move the basketball, they play with pace, they get up and down the floor, and Tyrese uses a lot of ball screens. So if he's in a situation where he can't create an advantage in transition and into pick and roll and get ahead, of that primary defender, now they're not playing 5-on-4 against OKC's defense, and I think that would really hurt them. Because, again, like I mentioned, not as much one-on-one, and he won't necessarily have that burst to get into the paint. But here's the thing, right? At this point in the season, everybody is 70-75% healthy. He has to be 80% and going for Indy to have a shot.
Now, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You know we're getting scoring every night, but he's been racking up the defensive numbers as well. What can you say about the Hamilton, Ontario native's two-way play in this series so far?
Yeah, we know about his offense, and I think the same reason why he's such a good offensive player, using angles, using his body, shooting himself, getting to the basket, is also translated to the defensive end of the floor. Maybe not necessarily on the ball as much because they do a good job of conserving his energy, but if you watch him on the weak side, if you watch him as a help defender, does a tremendous job using angles, getting into passing lanes, getting deflections, getting steals, off the ball. But he also does a good job of using his strength. I think we understate he's a 6'6" guard. He's wiry but really strong at the core and meets a lot of the offense at the rim and picking up, those block shots and getting steals, getting out in transition. But one thing stands is that he's the biggest competitor on the floor every night. So that it goes both ways.
The Thunder defense in general has just kind of come alive since the end of Game 4 and in Game 5. They've been, no doubt, one of the #1 defenses this postseason. How has this defense gotten its swagger back as of late?
Well, in the last 2 games, Jay, we're seeing point-of-attack defense, and they look very similar to their regular season dominance on the defensive side of the floor. I also think they've picked it up. They've elevated their play in terms of transition defense. They're picking up Indiana earlier on the floor, and also they're very tough and gritty. Here you see a double team on the baseline, Shai coming on that weak side baseline, coming up with a steal, and they manufacture so much offense from their defense. They forced Indy into 22 turnovers last game, which translated to 32 points. Lou Dort open on the court 30 feet out, and the swarming defense, he's recovering. Caruso comes up with a steal. Now you're getting an energizing play on the other end, and when you get guys, everybody touching the basketball involved, everybody's more willing to play defense. Lou Dort, again, everybody, you see the switching, 3-way switches. Hartenstein out on the floor 35 feet out. And look at where Indiana's initiating their offense. Look at the shot clock right here, 6 seconds, 5 seconds. You're forcing a tough one, another last-second switch. And Jalen Williams contesting Haliburton's shot. When you get those type of plays, those type of energetic defensive plays from everybody, it really helps, right? Two-way switch again. Now you have Chet, a 7-foot-long defender on Haliburton, Indiana's best offensive player and facilitator, and forcing another turnover for this team, for OKC. When they're able to manufacture offense from their defense and they don't have to play in the half court, you get a really good iteration of this team. But it starts on the defensive end. They've been great over the last 2 games.
The Thunder are just 1 win away from their first championship since relocating from Seattle. Game 6 Thursday night. Jevohn Shepherd, thanks for this.